You wowie.
Your little crying face left quite the little crying mark on the internet. Take a look.
Who are you?
What the f am I looking at?
The consequences of our actions. And it's only going to get worse from here.
Remember those Elsagate videos a while back that showcased popular children's cartoon characters doing extremely messed up stuff? Well, those types of videos have started to resurface. This time, they now come in Amazing Digital Circus Flavor. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Amazing Digital Circus, it's an animated series on YouTube that got really popular. How popular? Let's just say the pilot episode is currently sitting at over 300 million views at the time this video is being uploaded, which, for comparison, is almost as much as the entire population of the United States. The series is being animated by Australian studio Glitch Productions, with the founders of Glitch Productions being the same people who created the SMG4 web series. As for the show itself, it follows a series of characters that got trapped in the titular circus, with Pomni, aka the jester in the red and blue outfit, being the latest victim. The 6 trapped characters now need to follow the instructions of ringleader Kane, an artificial intelligence. The other characters trapped in the digital circus include Jax, a humanoid purple rabbit who takes delight in pranking and bullying the other cast members. Ragatha, a kindly ragdoll who attempts to maintain an optimistic attitude towards her situation. Gangle, a humanoid ribbon who wears fragile comedy and tragedy masks that represent her current mood. Kinger, a paranoid and forgetful king chess piece who has been trapped in the circus the longest. And Zooble, an irritable humanoid mix and match toy. The series so far has 2 episodes, with the second episode only being released a couple of weeks ago, as of this video. But I'm not here to talk about the series. Instead, I'm here to talk about the extremely messed up knockoff animations that it ended up spawning. Because these knockoff animations, despite being geared for kids, are some of the most messed up things I've ever had the displeasure to lay my eyes upon. And yet somehow, they all end up getting a ton of views. Which really just shows that the scumbags making these are taking advantage of how little kids will just watch about anything. As for how bad they really are, I will be providing audio commentary on 3 Amazing Digital Circus knockoff animations to give you insight on how messed up they really are without doing too much damage to your sanity. With all of that out of the way, let's tread carefully through the swamp that is the Amazing Digital Circus knockoff animations. Let's get through the first video, which is called Pomni's Super Fart, but Jax loves it. The Amazing Digital Circus animation, Pomni vs. Ragatha. I'm just going to let this title speak for itself. If that wasn't bad enough, here's the thumbnail for this video. And apparently this is supposed to be for kids. Anyways, onto the video. The video starts off with Ragatha being jealous of Pomni for being so close to Jax, so out of envy, Ragatha pours some fart potion over Pomni, in hopes that Jax would get grossed out by it. Ragatha then proceeds to board up the bathrooms so that Pomni can't release her bottled up booty vapor in private. When Jax checks in on Pomni to see if she's alright, she then proceeds to release a warhead of a waft, only for Jax to be completely turned on by it and starts chasing after Pomni, like a wild animal catching the scent of the pheromones during mating season. While running from Jax, Pomni bumps into Kaufmo, who appears to be resurrected from the dead, where Pomni then rips another one right in front of him, only for Kaufmo to be turned on by it as well. Ragatha then realizes the potion she poured on Pomni ended up being a flower-scented fart potion, and was supposed to give her the deadly stinky fart potion instead. After Ragatha douses Pomni in the stinky fart potion, Pomni starts to get an idea of where to release her fanny fumes, which just so happened to be in the barrel that Ragatha was hiding in. We then get this shot of Pomni's dump truck positioned within inches of Ragatha's face, where she then breaks wind. Actually, breaking wind would be an understatement. Instead, she broke a Category 5 hurricane of stank right on Ragatha's raggedy and bootlegged face, with that fart being so bad that it ended up giving Ragatha rabies. I should also mention this. That wasn't the whole video, but just one segment of an 8-minute video, which has 5 segments in total. Which means there's more of this. The next 2 segments are of Ragatha and Pomni fighting over Jax, one at the circus and another at a beach setting, which are both surprisingly tame. For the 4th segment, Jax pulls a prank on Pomni by taking off her hat, only to reveal that Pomni is completely bald under that hat, which causes her to burst into tears. Kane then gives Jax a hair-creating potion and then tells him to put it on Pomni. As Jax is running towards Pomni, he then trips, which causes the entire bottle of potion to land right on Ragatha's hair, which causes the entire circus to be covered in Ragatha's hair. We then get a scene of Kinger trying to pull a queen chess piece out of the hair. After Kinger pulls her out, we then see some of Ragatha's hair end up on Kinger's chest and underneath the queen piece's armpits. Or at least what I think are supposed to be her armpits, with the two playfully flirting with each other. We then cut back to Jax and Pomni being caught in Ragatha's hair, with some of Ragatha's hair starting to grow on Pomni's scalp, only for it to fly away. I forgot to mention this, but Pomni and Ragatha weren't butting heads in this segment compared to the first 3. Anyways, on to the last segment. The 5th and final segment starts with Jax destroying Kinger's pillow fort and unintentionally injures a Gloink in the process. This enrages Kinger and starts to chase Jax throughout the circus. Thinking quickly, Jax pulls out a key that's shaped like the female sex symbol and sticks it into his skull and turns it like a key, which transforms him into a woman. With Kinger being the down bad goober that he is, he immediately drops all feelings of anger and starts to simp for FemJax, and even becomes her servant. While Kinger is busy being the beta boy servant, the Gloink that Jax unintentionally injured at the beginning tries to kill Jax with a Minecraft diamond sword. Jax then swipes the sword from the Gloink and then uses it to slice a cake and wipe the frosting from the cake on the Gloink. Kinger then proposes to female Jax, where she was hesitant at first, but then thought about pranking him at the wedding by switching back to a man right there, which was enough to make Jax say yes. The prank backfires when Jax is unable to find the key to switch him back to a man, where it's then revealed that the Gloink stole the key out of revenge. Also, the characters are shaking a lot during this segment, like they all have Parkinson's for some strange reason. Anyways, that was only the first video. Luckily, this next one is only a minute long. We now move on to the second video titled Trouble in Toilet, Pomni x Jax's Dinner Date Disasters, The Amazing Digital Circus. Again, placing heavy emphasis on bodily functions, which also carries into the artwork for the thumbnail. The video starts with Pomni driving to Jax's place, where Jax offers her a plate of spaghetti. Also, Pomni has a little girl's voice in this video for some strange reason.
This is so good. The noodles are so perfectly cooked.
While it starts out normal-ish, The gross out stuff starts as soon as we get a close-up of Pomni's stomach rumbling, which causes Pomni to go to the bathroom. While in the bathroom, we get this disturbing inside footage of Pomni actually pushing the mud monkey out her back door. The grossness doesn't end there, as when Pomni tries to flush it, it still lingers in the toilet. This gets even worse when poop starts to gush out of the toilet like a fondue fountain, where Jax then checks in on Pomni only to be disgusted by it, and rightfully so. While this video was disgusting, it was at least short, which is something that I can't say for this next and final video. We now head into the third and final video titled Jax Kissing with Cat Pomni, Ragatha Smelling Pomni's Fart. Digital Circus Mukbang Animation. The really long titles are a recurring theme here, where we then are met with another thumbnail of Pomni farting on Ragatha. Man, it must stink to be Ragatha. This video is a half-hour long, but only shows Amazing Digital Circus content for the first 6 minutes, with the remainder of it showing other children's characters like SpongeBob SquarePants. We start the video off with a warning. The warning is apparently useless since it doesn't say, "Warning, do not watch this video unless you want to purge your brain cells." The video starts off with Jax walking to Pomni's room with a bouquet of flowers, only to find Pomni unresponsive. This leads to a mystery with Jax, Ragatha, and Kane to find out who did it. A flashback then plays of Ragatha walking around while holding snacks, where she then walks into Jax holding an unresponsive Pomni. This leads to Ragatha to believe that Jax is the one who did it, as her and Kane start beating up Jax in what is probably the lowest budget cartoon fight cloud ever. After Ragatha and Kane tie up Jax, Pomni starts to wake up and then immediately punches Kane so hard that he falls on the ground with his back and caked up booty facing upwards. Pomni then remembers what happened, where she was eating cotton candy only to be knocked out by the foul stench of Kane's cup of noodles, which then causes the other three to beat up Kane. We then head into the next segment of Pomni, Gangle, and Ragatha eating snacks with their massive pot bellies. And then, out of left field, we cut to baby versions of the trio with their snacks, where baby Pomni then proceeds to hog all of the snacks for herself, which causes the other two babies to attack her. We then cut back to their adult counterparts with the potbellies screaming since their oversized guts are starting to move around. Kane then comes in and moves them to a conveyor belt, where they are then zapped with a laser that causes them to give birth to a food baby. Who on our great planet Earth comes up with this? Baby Pomni then comes out crying and all beaten up with no food, where two robotic arms then snatch baby Ragatha and baby Gangle's snacks. Baby Pomni then fights the robotic hands and gets the snacks back, only to be hit with a giant boxing glove into her stroller. We then head into the next segment, where Jax gives Pomni a bouquet of food, only to be stopped by an angry Kane who accidentally shoots Pomni with a heart ray. This causes Pomni to be so down bad for Kane, while Jax is furious, and the two proceed to chase Kane, where Kane then trips and we then again get exposure of his dump truck. As Jax is about to pounce on Kane, he then shoots Jax with the heart ray, which causes him to turn into a woman, and she is also down bad for him. As Pomni and Femme Jax are fighting over Kane, Kane then snaps his fingers, which causes them to both be obsequious to him, with the two fighting for Kane's affection. It then gets to a point where they start to fight, and this poorly animated dust cloud brawl causes the heart rate to break, causing Pomni and Jax to return to normal and start beating up Kane. We then head into the final Amazing Digital Circus related segment of this video, where a sentient pencil draws Pomni's head without her body, causing her to freak out. The pencil then calms Pomni down by drawing food and then drawing Jax's headless body, where Pomni's head is then placed on. Pomni then proceeds to hijack the pencil and draws an exit door, which causes a lot of food to come out of it. Pomni then starts to eat the food, only for her to briefly stop and draw her actual body and Jax's head on his body. While Pomni was originally smitten by Jax, she then smells Jax's breath, which then leads to Pomni erasing his face and drawing 2 exit doors next to each other for Jax to run in an endless loop for all eternity. With the pencil regaining consciousness, it starts to get peeved and draws some hot sauce to slip into Pomni's food out of revenge, which Pomni then eats and ends up breathing fire, which then burns Jax, ultimately killing him. As Jax's spirit leaves his body, his spirit then slaps Pomni, which causes the pencil to laugh, and from there, it ends. Those were all of the Amazing Digital Circus knockoff animations that I've covered across the 3 videos. I also originally planned to cover a 4th video called Jax and Pomni Love Story, Mini Jax Hunting Pomni, the Amazing Digital Circus animation. But that video is a half-hour long, and unlike the mukbang one, it's all digital circus segments throughout the entire video. I ultimately decided to not cover that video because that would just make this video too long. And I don't feel like torturing you anymore. And I certainly don't feel like torturing myself anymore. If you're wondering, those 4 videos I mentioned in this video all come from different channels, which is honestly more depressing than having it all come from just one channel. As for the videos themselves, let's just say they're mind-numbing at their best and straight up disturbing at their worst. And I have nothing but the deepest of concern for those kids who might stumble across these kinds of videos. The fact that these channels are taking advantage of a popular internet cartoon with a lot of bright visuals to hijack and make brain rot out of for the sake of destroying kids' brains really shows that there's a special place in hell for the scumbags that make these. That's all I have for today, and I'll see you next time.